Hi everyone, I'm Melissa Wright and I live in Chandler, Arizona with my husband, and I have two children, a 2.5-year-old and a 6-year-old. And I used to teach kindergarten and first grade up until I had my son, and now I have been a stay-at-home mom for, I guess, 6 years. Reading and literacy is probably my favorite part about teaching and learning. It's just what I feel strongest in, I guess. My probably early literacy memories, I don't actually remember a lot. I knew my brother was a really good reader. He could read fluently at like 4, so I'm sure that he taught me a lot because he's 4 years older than me. And I remember around 3rd grade, my dad and I were super into the Where's Waldo books, and like we would sit there together and go through all those, reading all the clues and trying to find all the different things. We'd leave like little sticky notes with little arrows like pointing at the objects that we were looking for. I definitely remember that. And in 1st grade, I remember coming in every day and there'd be a writing prompt on the board, and we'd have to write in our journals. And actually, I still have those. My mom saved those. So I still have the writing journals, which are fun to look at and see sort of like where I came from, like where I started at the beginning of the year and where I ended at the end of the school year. And what I wrote about is kind of funny to look at. And I think those experiences early on have influenced me as a teacher. I really like to have my books, like my read aloud books especially, always go with like a theme. So if it's like September, I go through and find all of my apple books and fall books. And then when it becomes October, I always go and look for all my pumpkin and Halloween books. I always like my read alouds to go with the month or the theme if we're learning about community helpers or the desert or whatever it may be. I like all of my stuff to kind of go together. And what else? Let's see. I always viewed myself as a good reader. I've always been advanced in reading. I have always been very fluent of a reader with good inflections. Like the teachers would always like pick me when they leave the classroom for a minute, and I'd be like reading paragraphs and paragraphs. And it was always scary, the like popcorn reading or the round robin. You're like, oh my gosh, my turn's coming up. So I try not to do that in my own classroom because that can definitely be scary for kids. And writing, I never really liked writing. It's not been my like strong suit. I mean, I do it and I'm good at it. I just would prefer definitely to read and like discuss, like talk about it as opposed to writing, a prompt or something like that. But yeah, so that is my reading and writing literacy experiences.